join Kazuchika Okada in the finals of the 2025 Continental Classic. We are on the verge of finding out, but once more, let's check in with Renee Paquette.
Kyle Fletcher has been so laser focused on this matchup with Jon Moxley. He couldn't even be concerned with the previous semifinals matchup, even though it featured two of his very best friends and Don Callis family members. Instead, he has been in deep watching all of Jon Moxley's previous C2 matchup. He said tonight he has to be prepared mentally just as much as physically and willing to push things that much farther than Jon Moxley.
Kyle Fletcher feeling confident. He has been in this position before. He's made it to the semifinals of the Continental Classic for a second consecutive year. But can he better last year's result?
Only in the Continental Classic are you going to see matches like we have here tonight. Just amazing. The competition that AEW brings you each and every week, twice a week in the pay-per-views.
Opponent from Cincinnati, Ohio, weighing 231 pounds, Jon Moxley!
In the first iteration of the Continental Classic, Jon Moxley reached the final round, but ultimately was defeated by Eddie Kingston. Is tonight Jon Moxley's night, Brian? He seems locked in.
He does seem locked in, but it's interesting to note that usually when he's doing his entrance, we see Marina Shafir in the back, slapping him in the face to warm him up. We didn't see Marina at all back there. I wonder if there's a reason why.
Yeah, that's a good question. Here's another question. I think it's a burning question. How much will Jon Moxley's ankle come into play? You know, at least you would think that Kyle Fletcher's going to focus on that. At least most would.
Kyle Fletcher light on his feet, awaiting the arrival of the four-time former AEW World Champion.
Oh, that's interesting. Jon Moxley has spent most of the year plus being hated, but he's getting a little bit of applause from part of the crowd here in Chicago.
You know, Brian, a couple of weeks ago, we had here on our programs Jon Moxley talking about his efforts in the Continental Classic, and I think a lot of fans identified with that. Not giving up, not backing down.
Brian,
I wonder if part of it, too, is that because of the Continental Classic rules, there's been no Death Rider interference. We haven't seen some of the usual Death Rider shenanigans.
This match, like our first, no time limit. It is a semifinal round match. The 2025 Continental Classic. There must be a winner. There must be someone to go on to face Kazuchika Okada later on tonight in the final round match.
Jon Moxley is smart, man. He is going to be very tentative, very cautious about going in against Kyle Fletcher. That's the ultimate, I think, show of respect.
And Tony, notable by his absence is Don Callis, who was supposed to be joining us here at the desk for this match, but may be busy attempting to quell some tensions within the Don Callis family that may have arose from our first bout.
Yeah, that's a good point. I just wonder what's going on backstage right now. Should be very interesting.
Standing switch by Fletcher, but Moxley switches around on his own. Fletcher trying to break free of the waist lock, gripping at the finger of Jon Moxley. And Brian, you know Jon Moxley better than most people. And despite how your full-time in-ring career ended, Jon Moxley, I think, has got to be, in my opinion, the favorite in this match. I wonder if you share the same
You know, I'm not really sure. You know, 1 year ago, Kyle Fletcher was in the semifinals of the Continental Classic. He lost that match against Will Ospreay. But look at how much Kyle Fletcher has progressed in 2025. And also you look at how much Moxley has fallen from the top of the mountain, from being AEW World Champion to now look at the number of times he's not only lost, but tapped out, given up in matches. You have two men here on opposite paths. And I honestly don't see how Jon Moxley pulls this one off.
Yeah.
Kyle Fletcher has been so incredible in 2025.
Sports Illustrated named him the Breakout Wrestler of the Year among the 10 awards AEW garnered in the Sports Illustrated Wrestling Awards of 2025, including Promotion of the Year.
Right now, it's Kyle Fletcher slowing this pace down, trying to frustrate Jon Moxley, and by my estimation, he's doing a good job of it. There we see Kyle Fletcher's victories in the tournament. Fletcher underneath the bottom rope.
Yeah.
Turned his back to Moxley. Now Moxley in pursuit.
You know what? Fletcher should have known. I mean, we all knew that this wasn't going to last, that Moxley would give chase.
Yeah, you should never turn your back on Jon Moxley, even if you're his friend.
He found out the hard way.
In this very arena, as a matter of fact. Moxley with the line.
Just drove Fletcher's face into our announce desk. And I'm not sure if that was by intention or by accident. Did so right in front of Bryan Danielson, but the powers of Fletcher delivered the scoop and the slam on Moxley.
That scoop slam, Excalibur, was with ease.
We've talked about it numerous times. Kyle Fletcher has one of the best body slams in all of professional wrestling, the impact. And now he's really taken it to Jon Moxley.
Fletcher turned his glance for a moment at the AEW Continental Championship belt, positioned here in front of our desk. Punishing chop delivered. Brian, you talked about the losses, the tap-outs that Jon Moxley suffered. I think throughout this tournament, though, maybe we've seen Moxley get his confidence back. And I think that's in large part to succeeding on his own merits, not relying on the Death Riders.
I would agree with that statement. I think he's gotten back to the Jon Moxley of old. I mean, look at this. Taking punishment, not afraid to take the punishment and dishing it right back out.
Hammer thrown to the corner, followed up. And clothesline, Fletcher sent to the floor by Moxley.
Moxley's going to go out.
Moxley in pursuit of Fletcher. Very dangerous position for Kyle Fletcher to bam!
Was the elbow or the shoulder? I'm not sure, whatever.
I mean, the hip of Fletcher most certainly striking the barricade as Moxley. The boot into the jaw of Fletcher, and then Fletcher once again falling into the barricade. Moxley just rolled underneath the bottom rope to break the referee's count. It is still a 10 count on the floor. Moxley, he could advance to the finals via a count out.
But you know Mox, he doesn't want to win via count out. He never has.
He wants to be decisive. He wants to destroy his opponent.
Fletcher, elbow strike on the outside.
I mean, these two guys are two of the hardest hitters in all of AEW. These elbow strikes back and forth. So much impact. Although if I'm Kyle Fletcher, I don't think I want to stay on the floor. I want to get Jon Moxley in the ring.
We're trying to maneuver those steps. I think a lot of times.
Now he's got the leg of Moxley.
Oh, that's going to change things.
Trapped in between the steps. And remember that injury that Moxley picked up that was exacerbated throughout the tournament, now potentially could end not just the night, but end the tournament for Jon Moxley. Fletcher
Goes.
Oh, a drop kick. Moxley, the leg sandwiched in between the steps and the ring post.
Yeah, Bryce Remsburg doing all he can to get him back in the ring, but he's not finished.
Kyle Fletcher was taking his time early in the match. I think now is the time to press his advantage.
Well, let's recall at Christmas Collision that he was against the clock in his final match with Jack Perry. He had to rush to get it done in that 20-minute time limit. About 19 and a half minutes, he got the win. But tonight there is no time limit.
Kyle Fletcher pulling off that victory just under the wire.
Yes, sir.
And now attacking the ankle of Jon Moxley. We saw how heavily that ankle of Moxley, Brian, how heavily it was damaged by Kyle O'Reilly in their battle. That O'Reilly ended up winning, forcing Jon Moxley to tap out, but
you would have to think, to that point, Excalibur, you would have to think that Kyle Fletcher's been training with Josh Alexander.
Yes.
Another master of the ankle lock.
That's a great call.
And a fellow member of the Don Callis family is wrenching back on the leg as Moxley, see a little trickle of blood coming from the mouth of Jon Moxley.
That was more on the knee than the ankle, I would think. I guess it hurt every part of the leg.
Well, that reverse Indian Deathlock attacks both the knee and the ankle.
Okay.
And Fletcher swiping at the back of Moxley's leg with the kick, and again wrenching on the ankle as Moxley in trouble here.
One thing if I'm Kyle Fletcher that I'd be wary of is turning your back on Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley can cinch on that sleeper or bulldog choke from any position, so Kyle Fletcher just has to be careful.
Fletcher covers hooks the leg, but just a 2 count for Moxley.
Moxley was holding that leg, you notice that, and left the face open, and Kyle connected.
Fletcher perhaps thinking single leg crab. Indeed he does. As Moxley flattened out, and Fletcher a bit surprised how well Fletcher has been able to dictate the pace of this match against Jon Moxley. Moxley, I'm not sure, but may have suffered a broken tooth. That's where that blood is coming from. I'm not sure if our cameras caught a look at that, but nonetheless, he was able to power his way out with those kicks, and then answers with a cutter. Jon Moxley found that cutter just when he needed it most, and Fletcher doing a good job of trying to create some distance between himself and Moxley, but Moxley
on one leg,
hobbling, and the tope, but his leg got caught up on the ropes, and you saw Jon Moxley immediately clutching that left knee.
I think that dive hurt Jon Moxley just as much as it hurt Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah, it was a mistake. I don't think there's any question. I think we all agree on that. But Moxley didn't give a damn. He's back to his feet. What a fighter.
But I mean, that's the kind of wrestler that Jon Moxley was when people fell in love with him. The guy who would push through pain, the guy who would do anything it takes to win. But look at Kyle Fletcher!
Michinoku driver, center of the ring. 2. Oh! And if Moxley is somehow able to defeat Kyle Fletcher in this match, Tony, that means Jon Moxley will be going into a final round match with Kazuchika Okada on one leg, essentially.
With a bad wheel, absolutely. I talked about this when we saw the first match. He's got to come back and wrestle again. For Jon Moxley, if he can get through this, it's going to be tough. Even for Kyle Fletcher, he's got to... Listen, I think there's plenty of this match to go.
Fletcher lines up. Oh, but Moxley out of the corner.
Not able to get the power that he usually gets with that clothesline. I think because of the damage to the ankle.
Oh, look at this, Moxley.
Brian, I think you've got the right of it. Moxley is not able to generate enough power with the damage to the leg, and instead, ducks underneath Fletcher, and timing got him.
But even in hitting that clothesline, I mean, the angle of Jon Moxley's ankle, look at, if we can see it there. Oh, we can't see it in that replay. But the torque on Jon Moxley's ankle, even just delivering that clothesline.
Yeah, I think we saw at the end of it, the fans encouraging Jon to get up. Isn't it amazing where we were at the beginning of 2025, and now we see a smattering of fans. Look at this. Cheer for Jon Moxley.
Look at his ankle.
Just amazing.
Moxley trying to will himself on.
Listen, the fans behind. The fans appreciate effort, regardless. And you get it from Moxley each and every time. Oh, good God. Oh. I don't think Kyle's going to win this striking contest, even Moxley with a bad wheel. Just my thought here.
I kind of disagree with you, Tony. I mean, there was a time when betting against Jon Moxley in AEW would be a fool's game. But Kyle Fletcher just hits so hard.
He did that time. You are right, Brian.
But Moxley explodes out. Drop kick out of the corner. Bad leg be damned, Moxley. I think Moxley, the urgency perhaps setting in as he's got Fletcher wind up in the corner and hammering down with those right hands.
Right to the temple.
Oh, Moxley hit hard on the apron. Look at this.
Awkward landing for Moxley as Fletcher shucked him off outside of the ring. And now Fletcher running the kick, caught, and now Moxley able to turn the momentum against Kyle Fletcher.
It's a desperation move that it worked. What is Moxley going to do here?
Moxley went for the stomp, but instead Fletcher able to avoid it. Answered with a kick, and now
Kyle Fletcher so dangerous on the apron. Oh my God!
Moxley's got to be done. Just rolling in the ring. I can't believe he's setting up.
The lights are on, but nobody is home for Jon Moxley.
Now Fletcher can just roll in the ring, I think, and win on the count out.
Fletcher, who's beaten numerous people with his brainbuster, just gave Jon Moxley the brainbuster on the hardest part of the ring.
And Fletcher,
look at that!
Fletcher just demanded that referee Bryce Remsburg get back in the ring and begin the 10 count.
Smart move, get it over with.
A count out is just as good as a pinfall or submission for Kyle Fletcher.
And I would have to think Kyle Fletcher feels really good if he can win this match, because he beat Okada in the group stage of the Continental Classic this year.
Moxley's
not moving.
He is completely stunned.
Got 3
Now
to go.
finally rolls to his stomach.
Up to 8.
And he's got a bad wheel. Can he get in?
And Moxley beats the count, but Fletcher on the attack. Fletcher
Smart move.
waiting for him. The Liger Bomb, 1, 2, 3. Moxley not out of this one yet.
Left arm was not covered up by Fletcher in that leg.
But Fletcher sits back. The single leg crab.
Can Kyle Fletcher get Jon Moxley to tap out?
We've seen it more time in the last few months than we have in Jon Moxley's entire AEW career. Will he give up here tonight?
If I'm Kyle Fletcher, I switch to the ankle lock.
Oh, now Fletcher wrenching. Oh my God. Wrenching back, but Moxley. Look at that. Fletcher overcommitted. And now Moxley, the Bulldog, just as you said, Brian. He snatched Fletcher, and Fletcher's face turning purple. Kyle Fletcher fading. Does he have an answer? Does he have an escape?
He may be able to get to that rope with that back leg.
Oh, you see Kyle Fletcher's trying to grab Mox's ankle. And Mox had to let go.
Oh, there you go. There's the counter.
And there it is, to the ankle lock.
The ankle lock, and now he sits down.
Oh, but Fletcher doesn't have it on right.
He is wrenching on it, though.
There he goes. There he has the proper grip.
But Jon Moxley. Oh, Moxley, can he make it to the rope? Can he make the escape? Or will Fletcher tear apart the leg of Moxley? Fletcher wrenching at Moxley, swiping desperately, madly, trying to maneuver to the ropes, but Fletcher, oh, he does make it!
What an effort, Jon Moxley. Holy hell.
You can see Jon Moxley didn't want to give Kyle Fletcher the satisfaction of making him get to the ropes, but he felt like he absolutely had to.
He did, Brian.
is something I never...
No.
Something I thought I might never, ever hear again is a crowd chanting in unison for Jon Moxley.
Especially after you think about the beginning of this year. Boy, things kind of change in one match.
And Fletcher, perhaps some frustration spilling out of Kyle Fletcher, the repeated stops to the face. Moxley breathing heavy. And Fletcher, though, with the advantage, deposits Moxley on the top turnbuckle.
And we've seen Kyle Fletcher deliver that brainbuster onto the top turnbuckle from the top rope. But Mox able to get free.
Moxley now biting Fletcher. Perhaps the last gasp for Jon Moxley. He gets to his feet underneath Fletcher and just sends Fletcher awkward landing on the top turnbuckle.
John needed a second to regather himself that time, and he did. Oh, you know what's coming up here, don't you?
Moxley underneath the chin of Kyle Fletcher, but it's in the ropes. The submission would not count in that position, but maybe he was trying to dim the lights just a little bit.
That's what he was trying to do.
Oh my gosh, what is he going to do here?
Oh my God! The avalanche cutthroat suplex. Kyle Fletcher came down square on the top of his head.
Square on the top of his head. And you can see Bryce Remsburg, the referee, checking on Kyle Fletcher. I'm not sure we need, I wonder if we need more than Bryce Remsburg. We might need a doctor.
Oh, here it is again,
Look at
Brian.
this.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my God.
If he can, here it is again for another angle. Oh, that's the angle we watch. It's amazing that Fletcher is even trying to roll up and get up on his knees. Look at this.
Fletcher up to his own, now drops down. Moxley, I think Moxley might smell the blood in the water. The stomp, Fletcher.
Gentlemen, we are about 19 minutes into this match. The semifinals, of course, there's no time limit. Was it be a regular league match, we would be right at the time limit. But on it goes with these two warriors. I mean, on it goes. Look at this.
Jon Moxley, bad leg and all. Now looking for the cover. The leg of Fletcher is hooked, but no, Fletcher tilts. Crucifix. Oh! And Fletcher somehow to his feet. Moxley. Lariat. But Fletcher counters a half and half. The knee strike to the jaw. The hands were down. And Moxley out at one.
Oh my God, this is incredible. The crowd is on their feet. How much does it mean to these two men to get to the Continental Classic Finals?
Here he goes.
Brainbuster! 1, 2, 3! No, Moxley denies Fletcher yet again!
How many people in 2025 have we seen Kyle Fletcher defeat with that brainbuster?
Have we seen a better start to a pay-per-view than what we witnessed tonight? These two matches.
Now, the question becomes, does Kyle Fletcher have the composure? Or is his confidence shook? Because perhaps his greatest weapon, as you observed, Brian, was not enough to put away Jon Moxley.
But Kyle Fletcher has more iterations of the brainbuster that he can use. And we've seen him do it from the top rope. We saw him do it earlier on the apron. We've seen him do it from the apron through a table to the floor, putting out Kenny Omega. Adrian Heyman, Jon Moxley will not give up. He says, not tonight.
Defiant as ever, but he goes down hard on that one, Brian.
Kyle Fletcher didn't even need momentum for that clothesline.
No.
That's how out of it Jon Moxley is right now.
Again, I think it's amazing Kyle Fletcher standing.
Wait a second. Fletcher.
Oh, that's the same turnbuckle corner that
Okada went to.
Oh,
is he?
Kyle Fletcher's looking for the screwdriver.
And
Oh, Kyle Fletcher looks confused.
I think Okada took it with him.
Small package. 2. Oh, Fletcher swinging on Miss Moxley. Moxley drags Fletcher towards center, but Fletcher counters. 2. Moxley forced to abandon ship, and Fletcher. Paradigm shift from Moxley.
Cover him.
Damn! Kyle Fletcher. His turn to escape.
What is it going to take for one of these men to win this match?
Death Rider! 1, 2, 3. Fletcher is out, but Moxley. The sleeper is in. The hooks are in, and now Kyle Fletcher in deep, deep water.
Look at his face. Look at the face of Fletcher. He's going to stay with it or not.
Deep trouble. What Kyle Fletcher has to his advantage is his length. If he can maneuver his body and get to the rope, he's got a way out.
But he's got Moxley on his back.
And look at his face turning purple.
Fletcher up to his feet, the power to carry Moxley up, and now the
Dropping.
Fletcher.
Oh my God, look at how tightly that's cinched in.
But Fletcher, his hands drop, and
He might be out.
Fletcher, look at his face is completely purple. And that is it! Jon Moxley advances!
Here's your winner, advancing to the finals, Jon Moxley!
A gutsy performance by both men. Battling through pain, battling through injury. But it will be Jon Moxley, Kazuchika Okada, the finals of the 2025 Continental Classic later on tonight.
Gentlemen, in my career, I've never seen better back-to-back matches than we have witnessed here tonight in the semis to begin this telecast.
And Fletcher protesting the decision, but he went out. Bryce Remsburg, he had the right of it. And remember, we saw Kazuchika Okada use that screwdriver, but then after he threw it underneath the ring, Kyle Fletcher clearly had planted it earlier in the day. Somehow Okada caught wind of it and used it before Fletcher could.
Oh, God.
Fletcher, the chop block.
Two of the greatest matches we've ever seen. And now, after all that, the cheap shot, and Moxley still has to come back and face the greatest tournament wrestler ever in Kazuchika Okada. That was one for the Don Callis family is what that was.
As much as I dislike Jon Moxley, I find what Kyle Fletcher just did reprehensible.
Fletcher, for the second consecutive year, ends his Continental Classic in the semifinals.
We watched one of the gutsiest performances we've ever seen. Look at him fire himself up.